Hello, and welcome to the video abstract for our paper, the EarthLife Consortium API, an extensible open source service for accessing fossil data and taxonomies from multiple community paleodata resources presented in Frontiers of Biogeography. I'm Mark Uhen, and I'm speaking on behalf of my colleagues and co-authors, Philip Buckland from the Environmental Archaeology Lab at Umeå University, Simon Goring and Jack Williams at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and my colleague Julian Jenkins and I are from George Mason University. And our paper is on the EarthLife Consortium API, which is a single resource where you can go online to query several other data resources on fossils and associated information. And as I'm talking, you can follow along and check it out yourself at earthlifeconsortium.org. And here it is. So this page shows an introduction to the system itself, describes how it works, and the systems that are feeding into it currently are the Paleobiology Database, the Neotoma Paleoecology Database, and the Strategic Environmental Archaeology Database. And this work was supported with support from EarthCube at NSF. And I'll take you right to the API Sandbox, which you can click on over here. This is where you can actually perform some searches. And here I'm going to run through the examples that we actually have in the paper, which are both occurrence-based examples. So I click on occurrence and then click on Get, which opens a window where I can enter some parameters on which to search. And the first example in our paper is Ursus maritimus, the polar bear. And you can just hit enter, or you can go scroll down here and hit try it out. And it will show you a response as it, after it completes. So here you go. What it does is actually creates this URL, which is the call to the API. And here it is, the request URL. And the response body shows you what the system sent back. And this current response is in JSON. And you can see a little summary here of what happened. So when it queried Neotoma, it returned 55 records for the polar bear. And when it queried PBDB, it got 48 responses for polar bear. And here are the responses. So these are the individual records that are responded that the API sent back from each of the databases, and it tells you what database it came from and what the record ID is in each individual database, along with the age and location. And so JSON is generally better for computer systems to look at and not so good for humans, unless you're used to looking at it. So you can actually change the response from JSON to CSV, which is comma separated value, and I will rerun it. And you'll see we get the same data back, but in a tabular comma separated format, which is you can copy and paste this into Excel or any other spreadsheet based program, and you can also just run this if you want. You can copy this URL. I'll do it for you. So if you copy the URL, open up a new page, you can just paste it in there, and back comes your data. Just give it a moment. There it is. And again, you can copy it out of here and put it wherever you like. So let's go back here and clear this out and try one more example that is also in the paper, which is the family Canidae. So again, I'll run it with the JSON. This one might take a little longer because there's more data involved. So let's give it a moment. There we go. So again, here's the JSON return. In this instance, Neotoma returned 4,582 and PBDB 3,144 records. And again, we can switch that back to CSV to make it more understandable. And the way these two databases work is just a little different. In Paleobiology Database, you can actually ask it for the family. In Neotoma, you have to ask for individual taxa. So EarthLife Consortium API basically does the math for you and figures out what taxa are in the family Canidae by first querying the Paleobiology Database, which has this structure which allows us to return the subtaxa in a given higher taxon. And then it queries Neotoma for those particular taxa. This is showing you the taxa that are in the family Canidae that came back from Neotoma. So again, you still have the URL here. You can grab it and put it over here and get the data outside the system, which is very convenient. Again, it takes just a little bit longer because this is a larger data set, and there you go. So I hope this introduction to the ELC API interests you. If you have any questions, you can email us. My email is right here, muhen@gmu.edu, and I hope the system is of use to you and you enjoy the details in our paper. Thanks much.